The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Welcome to today's role play session with your host, James McDonald.
Well, thank you very much, Andrea. And I'd like to start by welcoming our participants to our role play session here today. Hope all of you are ready to volunteer to do some role playing here on the webinar. But also, you know that we can discuss any of your follow-up related questions as well. And so anything that revolves around follow-up or what we say on the phone, obviously with the universal script, etc. Now's the time. So I know that all of you came on here to get a little bit of practice. So why don't we do that? Why don't we take some volunteers, and we'll take as many as time permits, and we'll answer as many of the chat questions as time permits as well. And we'll have a great hour or so here. So Andrea, having said that, why don't we get started?
Yes, if you haven't done so already, go ahead and type in the chat box, I would like to volunteer a role play, or any questions or comments you have. You can also click the hand icon. Remember, you have to have a mic on your computer or be on the telephone. Let's see. Sorry for the delay.
Andrea, while you're doing that, while you're just getting people organized in there, I just wanted to talk about an issue here as we're at the end of the year. And a lot of the calls that you're going to be making, a lot of your follow-up, whether they're prospects that you generated weeks or months ago, or they're brand new prospects, when you're following up around the holiday season, what you're going to find is that you may end up booking fewer appointments this time of year than you would normally. And you know that's perfectly fine. Remember, the purpose of the call is not to book an appointment. The purpose of the call is to determine when would be a good time to book an appointment. Timing and motivation determines the appointment. So when we're making our follow-up calls, and it's during the holiday season, and perhaps it's not a time when we're going to book a lot of appointments, what we want to remember is that we can fill our calendar up in January and February with the very leads that we're generating in November and December. So particularly as it pertains to, say, editorial style ads. Now on the ad clinic sessions, we've been looking at some editorial ads, and it blows me away that everybody isn't running them, because the success rate of those editorial ads is very, very good. It's very rare that someone runs an editorial ad and doesn't generate some really positive response from them. But here's the thing. When you run these ads in November, December, around the holidays, what you're going to find is that you're generating prospective business for the new year. And we know that. We know that it's probably not going to result in us picking up the phone and listing houses, at the end of December, but we're generating prospects who are going to be doing something in the new year. So when you're following up with the prospect, you've got to really bear in mind that your purpose of this call is not to book an appointment. It's to determine if and when you should book an appointment. And very likely that isn't going to be right now, but it may be in January, it may be in February, it may be in March. We've got to do a really good job of asking the right questions, hearing the answers, and then suggesting the right follow-up time frame with that particular prospect. But whatever you do, don't, number one, stop running ads over this time of year because you think, well, no one's going to be listing their home or buying anything. It doesn't matter. We can still generate the prospects now. And number two, don't be disappointed when you find that you aren't booking appointments perhaps at the same rate that you would during the rest of the year. During this time, that may be the case as well, but that's perfectly okay also. Got to have sort of manage our expectations here. Okay, so having said that, maybe in some of our role plays that we do here today, I'll kind of demonstrate that a little bit with some of the prospects so that we can really make sure that we do a good job of accurately determining the timing and then making sure we follow up appropriately with that prospect at the appropriate time. Okay, so Andrea, what have we got?
We have Mario Scanza. Your mic is now open.
Good old Mario. How are you doing today, Mario?
Well, if I was any better, I'd have to cancel my life insurance, but my wife wouldn't be too happy if I did that.
Okay, well, that says it all. Good to hear, Mario. Hey, what would you like to do today?
Let's do a sync lead.
All right. So are you're calling me back? And what specifically did I request? What specific did I access properties on your site? What did I do?
Yes, you accessed properties on my site.
Okay, so now you're calling me back. So ring, ring. Hello?
Hello, James.
Yeah, who's this?
Yes, this is Mario Daniel Sconza over at REMAX, and the reason I'm calling is because I received your request to search homes for sale online using our property search site, and as a courtesy, I wanted to let you know that you now have full access to search away. Is that okay?
Yeah, no, I appreciate that. Thank you.
You're most welcome. I'm just wondering, are you folks planning on making a move in the next 3 to 6 months?
We're just looking around. I got some downtime, so we're just looking and seeing what's out there.
I understand. And do you currently rent, or do you own your own home?
No, we own.
Okay, and would you be looking at staying local here to the Bolton area, or would you be looking at moving out of the area?
No, we'd like to stay in the area. You know, if the right property is available, we would consider it. Not right now, but certainly in the new year.
In the new year, okay, that's terrific. And would you be looking at making a move earlier on in the new year, or later in the new year?
I don't know. We'd have to find something first, so we're in no hurry. You know, if the right property comes available, we'd consider it, but you know, not for at least a month or two.
Not for at least a month or two. Okay, I understand. And do you have a realtor, James, to help you when the time is right?
We know of a few different realtors. No one realtor in particular, but yeah, you know, I mean, when we get a little more serious, that's something that we'll look into a little more.
Okay, now if the right property came along over the next 30 days or so with the ability to close on the transaction, say in the spring or summer, would that work well for you?
Yeah, it might. I mean, we wouldn't want to feel like we're rushing into something, but it might. It'd have to be a hell of a property.
Absolutely, and you know, James, the best time to do something is when you don't have to, and there's absolutely no pressure. Would you like me to email you daily updates of homes that match your home buying criteria from all the different real estate companies, including bank foreclosures, company-owned properties, distressed sales, and most importantly, properties that are not even on the market right now or difficult to find online? This is a free service that we provide, and of course, you're never obligated to buy a home. Would that interest you?
Yeah, I guess. I mean, I don't mind. I don't mind just going online and just searching ourselves. You know, it's really not a lot of work, and I kind of enjoy doing it. So, you know, I'm fine with the access that I'm getting now. But you know, any additional properties that you want to send my way, I'd love to see them.
That's awesome, and I agree with you. In today's world, it's very easy to search for anything online. What we've discovered in the past is very often you miss out on the best opportunities because many times they don't make it online. Now, just wondering if I could help get you in front of properties that you wouldn't have access to on your own that would represent a great deal. Would that interest you?
Sure.
Terrific. When can we get together for about 20 minutes, James, so I can take down exactly what you're looking for?
Well, because we're in no hurry, probably be best in the new year. You know, maybe sometime second week of January, something like that would probably be best.
We'd like to meet in the second week of January. Okay, that's no problem at all. We can definitely go ahead and book a tentative appointment for then if you wish. Now,
yep.
You did mention if something came up over the next 30 days or so that if it was a spectacular property, you might take action without any pressure. Is that something that you would still be open to, or would you definitely want to wait till the new year?
Definitely, it'd probably be 30 days at the least. You know, I mean, if something came up tomorrow, we're busy. We wouldn't do anything. So no.
Okay. That's no problem at all. we can definitely then wait till the new year. Can we go ahead and book a tentative appointment now for, say, the second week in January? Nothing that I would hold you to. If I'll call you back and confirm if we have to reschedule, we will. Is that okay?
Sure.
All right, excellent. I'm here looking at my schedule. Do you prefer afternoons or evenings?
Probably an evening, anytime after 5:30 is fine.
Perfect. How about Wednesday, January the 12th, say at 10 minutes to 7? Would that be okay?
Sure.
All right, excellent. Now, just out of curiosity, James, if I appreciate the opportunity for the appointment, and I just want to make sure, because in the next 30 days, there's going to be a lot of great opportunities out there because there's not a lot of buyers, and there are some highly motivated sellers who've already bought homes. If something came up which represented a really spectacular deal, would you definitely want to wait till that time, or would you want me to call you? I just want to serve you in the right way.
Yeah, no, we're definitely not going to do anything until the new year.
Okay, I appreciate the opportunity to have this discussion with you, and look forward to making contact in the new year. In the meantime, have a blessed Christmas, you and your family.
Thank you very much. Okay, so first of all, I just like how you converse over the phone. All right, very, very good. Just having a conversation like a professional would over the phone. You know, that goes a long, long way. Now, and you're asking probing questions, which I really like, really trying to get to determine my timing and motivation. Here's the thing, though, Mario. When I said I own, I don't know why you didn't explore the sell side of my transaction. Like, remember this, just because the prospect responded to a buyer offer and I responded to your commissions inc. and I'm looking at property, doesn't mean that I don't also want to sell my property, right? And if I responded to an ad about selling my property, it doesn't mean that I'm not also a buyer that's interested in buying a property. So the question is, would you prefer to look around for your present or for your next home before you put your present home up for sale? Or have you thought about putting your present home up for sale? But I don't know if you noticed this, but you didn't ask me any question at all, not a single question about the home that I own and putting it on the market. You know, would I prefer to do that first? Any questions about that would have shed insight into my timing and my motivation, right? So that's the only thing that I would suggest that you need to work on, is really make sure you've got all of these questions that you can ask the prospect to try to figure out, okay, am I doing the right thing with this guy? And if you omit some of the key questions, you could be missing out on determining the true timing and motivation. So do you see that you did that, Mario?
Yeah, 100%. And I'm still at sort of at the words level, and so.
Well, the words on the script say this: would you prefer to buy first or sell first? And I didn't hear that out of your mouth. You didn't say it, and it's written right there on the script. Right?
Yeah,
would you prefer to look around before you sell your present home? Now, maybe asking that question would have shed a little insight. Maybe I would have said something like this: well, you know, we are a little concerned with selling our home. It's pretty unique property, and you know, we don't know what it's worth. We don't know what we're going to get for it. We don't even know, how long it would take to sell it. So, that's something that we're not even going to tackle until the new year. That would have been really insightful for you to understand my situation more. Not only that, but watch this. When you booked the appointment with me in January, where was that appointment being held? At your office? Because a good offer would have been to say, hey, look, we can do the appointment at your home, and while I'm there, I can take a look at your property and I can point out some helpful tips. I can give you an idea of value, and I can shed some light on, what it's going to take to get your home sold for the most amount of money in the quickest amount of time. It's all free. There's no obligation. So I just want to point out that there are plenty of opportunities in the script to ask questions that will help us figure out how good our prospect is. I don't want you to omit any of those questions, because doing so would cause you to misunderstand their moving plans. Now, having said that and putting all that aside, you are very, very good. I mean, all of that stuff is easy. You can add that. You're going to be good at that. Here's what's harder to teach. To be comfortable and have a good phone tonality and good phone mannerism, that's not a given, and I feel very comfortable with the way that you speak over the phone, and that means that your prospects feel comfortable with you as well.
I appreciate that. Thank you very much.
All right, so you got a few things to work on there, but I appreciate you volunteering, Mario.
Thank you, and have a blessed Christmas.
Yeah, you too. All right, who's next, Andrea?
Our next guest is Larry Levine, or Levin. Your line is open.
Hello.
Hello, hello. How are you?
Hi, James. This is Larry Levin in Philadelphia, and I'm going to introduce my new outside sales agent, Mary, who wants to role play.
All right. Now, you say that Mary is your outside sales agent, but Mary is also booking. She's also acting as an inside salesperson. Explain how that works.
Yeah, a little bit. You know, she has to make follow-up calls to confirm appointments, or she's just contacting people in her sphere or people that are referred to her through her personal network. She's going to be using the script to establish timing and motivation.
All right, perfect. Okay, so Mary, first of all, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
Okay, so what did I respond to? Why are you calling me?
How about I call you because you are interested in information that we had for a Craigslist ad.
Okay, so ring ring, hello?
Hi, is Mr. Proctor there?
This is James.
Hi, James. My name is Mary Sassine with Coldwell Banker Preferred, and the reason I'm calling you is because I received your request for more information, and I just wanted to let you know that I've gone ahead and emailed that over to you. Is that okay?
What information?
Oh, it was just basic information on a new construction property that we have available.
Okay, yes, yeah. Yeah, I'll look out for that, thank you.
Okay, great. So are you looking to move in the next 3 to 6 months?
Maybe. We're just thinking about it.
Okay. So right now, do you currently own or do you rent?
We're renting right now.
Okay.
Yeah, we've got an open lease, so we'll see what happens. But yeah, no, I just saw the ad, and it looked interesting, so thought I'd get the property.
Great. Are you planning on staying in the area or moving out?
No, we're open to a couple different neighborhoods, but we'd like to stay local.
Okay. And do you have a realtor to help you if the time is right?
No.
Okay, great. So I would like to offer you our free home hunter service. It's a daily update of all homes that match your home buying criteria from all the real estate companies. Our list includes any bank foreclosures, company-owned properties, and other distressed sales, as well as homes that are not on the market, as well as for sale by owners. Now, this is a free service, and of course, you're never obligated to buy a home. Would that be something that interests you?
Sure.
Great. Would you be available for about 20 minutes so I could take down exactly what you're looking for?
Well, let me. Why don't I just take a look at the properties that you sent first, and I'll take a look at those properties first, and then we'll talk about looking at some other ones down the road. We're pretty busy right now with the Christmas holidays and everything coming up, so I really don't have time right now.
Okay, I understand. Well, but rather than email you hundreds of homes that may or may not match your criteria or risk missing out on the perfect one, if we can just get together for about 20 minutes or so, I have a form that I can fill out and take down exactly what you're looking for. Are days or evenings better for you?
Well, so your email is hundreds of properties that you sent me here?
Well, the one that I sent you right now is for new construction, but if you come in, I can go down and a list. We have a very long list, and I can find exactly what you're looking for and send you only those properties.
I see. Okay. Well, yeah, we're pretty busy right now. But that's something that maybe in the new year, like second week of January, something like that would be good to do. Can we hold off until then?
Sure, but why don't we just set up a tentative appointment for the second week of January, and then we can touch base around then and see how far you are, looking to buy a house and how things are going for you. Does that work for you?
Yeah, we can do that.
Okay, so
anytime during the week in the evenings is fine.
Okay, so let's just say second week of January. That's a Wednesday around 5 p.m. Does that sound good?
Sounds good.
Okay, so I will go ahead and put that in there for you. And in the meantime, would you like to receive my free monthly newsletter to keep you in touch with what's happening in the marketplace?
Sure.
Okay. All right, I'll just take down your email address, and you have a contact number for your work that I can reach you on as well?
Yeah, here's all my numbers.
Great. Well, it was really nice speaking to you on the phone, and I'm excited to meet you when you come in. Is there any other questions you have for me?
No, sounds good.
Okay. I look forward to meeting you.
Okay, good job, Mary. That was a really good job. And you know what was remarkable is you got more and more comfortable as the call went on. Okay, now here's a couple things, though. These are just a couple of little details that I make a big difference over the phone. Okay, instead of saying what I would like to offer to you, and the reason is because that's what a salesperson says, right? It's the salesperson selling the victim. We don't want to do that. What we want to do is we want to make this complete and total benefit to them. So the way that you're going to make the offer is you're always going to start it off by saying this: would you like? Right? It's not what I want, it's what they want. So there's a big difference between saying, hey, Mary, what I'd really like to do is I'd like to set you up on my buyer profile service. So you could say it that way, or you could say it like this: Mary, would you like me to email you every day all of the best deals as they come on the market that match what you're looking for? It's absolutely free. There's no obligation, and it would include all of the best hard-to-find deals that match your price range of what you're looking for. Would that be of interest to you?
Sounds good.
It needs to be 100% would you like this, as opposed to here's what I would like to do. Okay? It just remember this: when we're talking on the phone, every word you say paints a mental picture to the prospect listening. So when we tell them what we would like, it makes the prospect think, aha, so this is why you're calling. This is what you're trying to sell me. When instead of positioning it, what I would like to do, we're going to position it, would you like me to do this for you? It completely changes the mindset of the prospect to hear the benefit of what we're offering them. Okay, now, here's the other thing that I want you to understand. More than anything else, I really just want you to understand this, okay? The properties that you sent the prospect are not nearly as good as the properties that you're proposing to send the prospect. Let me make sure you really understand that. The properties that you've sent the prospect are not nearly as good and beneficial as what you're proposing to send the prospect. Here's why. Any properties that you send to the prospect, whether it's new construction, whether they're homes on MLS, it doesn't matter. The properties that you've sent the prospect are homes that are currently on the market and are still for sale because no other buyer wanted them. What you're proposing to send the prospect are properties that have not yet hit the market and have not yet been seen by any other buyer. That's the difference, right? So but first and foremost, you need to understand that difference so that when you're making this offer to the prospect, you can, in your mind, you can understand the benefit to the prospect. And if you were the prospect, you would want to know about properties that have yet to come on the market, much more so than properties that are already on the market that have already been overlooked by all the other buyers. So it's really important that you understand that mindset. Now, the only other thing that I wrote down here is when you're calling the prospect back, Mary, be specific. Be specific as to what it is they requested.
Okay.
Right? Don't just say, oh, you wanted information. I know it says that on the script, but that's because there's all kinds of information that they could have asked for. Make sure that the prospect knows why you're calling. And if you're very specific, you say, hey, Mary, it's James calling with Remax Omega. The reason I'm calling is you'd requested on a Craigslist ad that we ran a list of new construction properties that are available. I just wanted to give you a quick call and let you know I did prepare and send out that information. I hope that's okay. Be sure that the prospect says, yep, I remember that. I did get that. Thank you. We need to elicit a reaction of appreciation from the prospect. So the more specific you can be about what they requested and what you sent, the better.
Okay.
All right, but you were very, very good, and I thought it was pretty remarkable, but as the call went on, I found you more and more comfortable, not less. It's like you found a real groove as we went on there, and it became a really comfortable conversation with the prospect. So that's really, really good. That's, believe me, that's not normal. That's
It
a
was my
real
first
benefit.
time.
That's phenomenal. Really, really good. You're going to be very good at this.
Thank you.
All right, great stuff. Who's next, Andrea?
Our next guest is Debbie Sorensen. Your mic is now open. Hold on one second. That's definitely not going to work.
Oh.
Way too much feedback. Debbie, if you could dial in on your phone, that would help greatly. We'll move on to Ira Miller. You're muted on your end, Ira. Hit the red mic button. Go ahead.
Is that good? Hello?
Hello, Ira.
Hi, James. Can you hear me?
I can hear you loud and clear. What's happening?
Very good. I'm having some issues with my editorial ads and with people when we call in and use the universal callback script. A lot of them have been pretty rude. And I was wondering if you could be the caller and if I could be the person that responded to the editorial ad.
Okay, for sure. Okay, so first of all, remember this. Your introduction is what's going to cause them to feel like you're a telemarketer bothering them or not. All right, so remember that. If your introduction is too fast and they don't really hear what you're saying, they're going to treat you like a telemarketer. But if you do this properly and slowly and concisely, the prospect will understand that the only reason you're calling them is because they asked you for information first. Okay, so bear that in mind. So ring, ring.
Hello?
Hi, is Ira there, please?
This is Ira.
Oh, hi, Ira. It's James McDonald calling with Remax Omega Realty. And Ira, the reason I'm calling is because I got a request from you on a ad that we ran offering a free special report on costly home inspection pitfalls. And I just wanted to give you a very quick courtesy call and let you know that I did put together that information and I emailed it out to you. I hope that's okay, Ira.
I don't remember responding to an ad.
Well, it was yesterday in the local newspaper. There was an article about home inspection pitfalls, and you had called into our hotline to request that report. I'm only calling you as a courtesy, Ira, to let you know that your request was not being ignored. I did get it, and I did send it over to the email address that you provided when you requested the information. I hope that's okay, Ira.
Oh, I didn't know that this was coming from a realtor. I didn't want to receive it.
Yeah, it's an industry report, but I'm providing the information. Ira, are you thinking about making a move in the next 3 to 6 months or so?
I only responded to that ad because I was just curious as to what it was all about.
I gotcha. No, that's perfectly fine. If you were to make a move, would you be staying locally, or if you were to move, would you take off and move away?
We're not really thinking about moving.
No plans at all, huh?
No. I was just playing around, and that was, I just responded to that because it just kind of piqued my interest.
Okay.
I'm not really thinking about selling.
Okay. Well, you know that the report is in regards to home inspection pitfalls when listing your home in the new year, but not something that you'd consider doing at all, huh?
Well, I mean, maybe sometime in the future, but nothing right now.
Okay, I gotcha. Ira, last thing. I put together a newsletter every single month that's full of great market information like the information that you've requested. It's an absolutely free newsletter. There's no obligation at all, but I could send that out to you every month, and that way you'd have all kinds of information on a regular basis just like this that you might find helpful. You know, if at any point you ever were considering a move, would you like me to put you on the list and send out that newsletter every month?
That would be all right. I don't think that'd be a problem.
Okay, good. And when would be a good time for me to follow up with you down the road when you might be closer to maybe considering doing something in terms of a move? Is there any time that you think would be appropriate?
Not really. Like I said, we're not even thinking about moving. We don't have any plans to do that at all.
Perfect. Okay, well, as I said, I'll send you the newsletter, and you can get that every month, and there's great information in there. If you need anything else, my contact details will be there. Thanks for your time today, Ira.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, so here's what I want to point out first of all. Do you agree I made it really difficult for you to be rude and mean to me?
Yes, I do. It was really smooth and laid back and easygoing.
Like, here's the deal. You requested information from me, and I am, number one, I'm pointing that out, and number two, I'm bending over backwards to let you know that I'm calling as a courtesy to let you know that I've prepared and sent you the very information that you asked me for, thus making it impossible for you to be angry with me. Right? Now, here's the thing with this prospect. Here's what I know about Ira. Even though clearly there isn't any motivation to do something right now, I don't believe that anybody walks into a shoe store without any motivation at all to buy shoes. So here's the thing. I know that Ira might have been interested in the article about home inspection traps, and he may have even read the article. But for him to read the article and pick up the phone, call into a hotline, and leave a message with his name, his address, all those details. Here's the reason Ira did that. It's because Ira's thinking about making a move. Maybe not right now, maybe not in 6 months, but Ira is thinking about making a move, because people that aren't thinking about making a move don't do that. They just don't. So I'm not saying that Ira's looking to do something today, but I'm going to hedge my bets, and I'm going to say that if I send Ira my newsletter and I follow up with Ira in 3, 4, 5 months, I bet you that I'm going to determine, if I ask the right questions, that maybe Ira's a little more considerate of a move than initially indicated. Okay, and that's what's going to happen with many of these prospects, right? That are requesting information from an ad in a local newspaper. What I wanted to demonstrate for you, Ira, was that there is no prospect who should ever be mean or inconsiderate if you do a good job of explaining who you are and why you're calling. And that was your initial question when you'd initially volunteered here this morning.
Correct. You know, and not only I was making those calls, and then I've given that duty over to my ISA, and they're experiencing the same thing. So that's why I wanted to call in and role play this, so not only I, but they have something to go off of. And I'm sure a lot of people have experienced the same problem. So thank you for doing that.
You're very welcome. Yeah, just make sure you're very slow and concise with that, with the introduction, and you'll probably find that this will happen less and less frequently.
Excellent. Thank you.
You're very welcome. All right, who's next, Andrea?
Well, I thought we could ask or answer some of our chat questions. Austin types in a question that's some sort related to what we just discussed. They said, my leads respond to question number 1 with just curious, not planning on doing anything. We just moved in last month. How do you proceed with that because they get stuck?
Okay, repeat that one more time. They just moved?
That's their response to question 1 is they're just curious, they're not planning on doing anything, they just moved into their house last month.
Okay, well, I mean, remember, the purpose of the script is to determine their timing and motivation. So in other words, if you just made a move, you're in real estate mode. So you notice your reticular activator is your antenna is up, and you notice, real estate information. After all, you just finished making a move. You bought a new home, for example. So it would stand to reason that you're attuned to, real estate ads. But when you follow up with the prospect and you determine they just purchased a property, the only question you could ask him is, do you love it? Do you love the property? Any moving plans? Any investment plans? No. Well, that's fine. Remember, this is the exception, not the rule. Not too many prospects, when you follow up and say, are you thinking about making a move in the next 3 to 6 months? Not too many prospects will say, I just bought a new home last week. Like, that's very rare. That is the exception to the rule. So we don't need to develop a system that handles that because it's the rare exception. Most prospects haven't made their move yet. That's why they're requesting information. All right.
Okay, Debbie typed in a question. A lot of my buyers are from way out of town, like another state or 3 hours away, moving into the area. It's hard to visit them and get their criteria. What would you suggest?
Okay, they're from out of the area. Is that what I understood?
Yes, they're basically too far away to get together. So getting them on the phone isn't a problem, but meeting is the problem.
Yeah, well, what you want to determine is when they're coming to the marketplace, right? When are they coming to the area? So, if they're far away and they're planning on buying a property in the area, then they're going to have to come to the area. Whether they're out of state or hours away, they have to come to the area. So your job is to figure out when they plan on coming to the area. Now, if they say, well, we didn't have any, schedule or immediate plans, then the way to encourage that is by suggesting that there are properties that we can look at to give you an idea of what is available in the marketplace so you can actually see it. Now, if you plan to come here, I will schedule showings so that we can look at properties that fit your criteria that might match what you're looking for. Regardless of whether you're in a position to buy anything, we can at least schedule showings so you can get a good feel and understanding of where you might like to go, what kind of property you might like to be looking for, right? That's the best approach to take with somebody that isn't near. Now, if what you're talking about is, well, somebody's 40 minutes away or an hour away, well, this is important. They're buying a home. Do you not want to know about all the great deals as soon as they come on the market? Like, you know what? Yeah, you're going to have to drive. People drive an hour to go to a ball game, right? So we've got to put this in perspective. If the benefit of the offer is enough, then the prospect will inconvenience themselves in order to receive that benefit. Right? That makes a lot of sense. If the benefit of the offer is enough, then the prospect will inconvenience themselves in order to receive that benefit. So you've just got to make sure that the benefit is enough. Now, that's different if somebody's out of state. Well, we can find out when they plan on coming to the area and make an appointment for that time. So I hope that helps anyway.
Hey, Larry's question, how do you handle a prospect who keeps cutting you off and won't let you rebuke what they're saying in regards to not wanting to meet?
Well, remember this, you're the professional, they're the amateur. You have a lot more reasons why they should meet than they have reasons why they shouldn't. Craig likes to use the analogy of the professional boxer. He likes to use the example of Mike Tyson, although that's a little bit of an old example now that he's been retired for a long, long time. The point is this, if you step into the ring with Mike Tyson, you're the amateur and he's the professional. It's not like he's going to go to his corner and say, man, that guy threw stuff at me that I wasn't prepared for that. Geez, it would never happen. He's the professional, you're the amateur. Now, in our position, it's the opposite. We're the professional and they're the amateur. So the amateur can come up with as many reasons, as many objections, but we will always be more prepared. Now, there does come a point where if the prospect doesn't want to meet, the prospect isn't going to meet. Remember this, the purpose of this phone call isn't to meet with prospects. The purpose of the phone call is to determine how good the prospect is and whether you'd even want to meet with them. So somebody who at every turn is objecting and arguing and clearly indicating a lack of motivation and seriousness is not somebody that you really want to meet with anyway. So we've got to bear this in mind. But if a prospect interjects, maybe they're a high D&I type personality, that's perfectly fine. I wait for them to finish their objection, and as the professional, I beat them over the head with a logic hammer that completely rebukes their objection, completely handles it, removes any risk or threat, and completely focuses on a massive benefit to the prospect. So that the prospect is left completely disarmed saying, yeah, you're right. Now, they may come up with something new, but that's okay. I'm the professional. There's nothing they could say that I haven't heard and handled thousands of times in the past. That's the way you've got to be prepared, and it's the way you've got to think. Okay, great question.
Okay, we'll move on to Sandy Casella. She has her hand raised. Go ahead, unmute on your end. Just click the red mic button. Give you a few seconds to do that. Go
Hi.
ahead. There you go.
Hi, how are you?
I'm good. How are you? Who's this now?
It's Sandy Casella.
Oh, hi, Sandy. How are you doing?
Good, thanks. How about yourself?
Excellent. What would you like to do today?
I have a question for you in regards to follow-up, and it's more along following up with someone who we've already signed to a buyer agency. So sometimes we get buyers that are looking for a specific property, so it's taking a while to find them something, especially in this market. So I want to keep in touch with them on a weekly basis, and sometimes like, what would you, I don't want to call them and say, obviously, like, have you seen any property? So what's the best way to just keep the lines of communication open and let them know that we're still looking for properties for them and
okay,
that
well,
kind of stuff?
the first thing that you have to consider is this. Remember, when we sign a buyer to a buyer contract, it's a 6-month or 12-month buyer agreement. And now the reason is because even if a buyer says to us, look, we are not going to buy anything until the end of the school year. We're looking around right now. We're looking. We go to open houses. We're looking. But we're not going to buy anything until the end of the school year at least. Now, you bring them into the office. You say, hey, look, since you're looking, I've got a great way to help you. I can email you all the best properties as they come on the market. It's free. There's no obligation. They agree. They come in. They sit down with you. You take them through the buyer presentation. You sign them to a 12-month buyer agreement. And then 2 weeks later, you're calling them going, what's going on? Why haven't you bought anything? We have to manage our expectations and understanding that to that prospect, they told you their timing and their motivation. The reason we sign them to a 12-month buyer agreement is because we know that it may take weeks or months before they, get off the couch and really start looking in earnest. However, having said that, here's our rule. We are never, ever going to allow 90 days to go by without having a conversation with a buyer signed to a buyer contract. Even if they say they're not buying anything for 6 months, we're never going to let 90 days go by without having a conversation with them. And the conversation basically goes like this. We've been sending you properties. Have you gone and checked any of them out? Are you looking around at any of the properties that we've been sending you? Now, if the answer is no, then the conversation is very simple. Either the properties that I'm sending you aren't quite right and they really don't match what you're looking for, or perhaps your situation has changed. Are any of those things accurate for you, Sandy?
Okay.
Right?
Okay, so that, yeah. I understand.
Really,
okay,
that's all we can say. Now, what if the prospect said this to you? Oh, Sandy, no. We've been getting the properties and we've been looking at them. We've driven by a few, but as we explained, we really don't want to get too excited about any properties right now because not until at least May or June, we're not going to be, really looking seriously to buy something. So, keep them coming. We appreciate it, but yeah, we're just not quite there yet. That'd be cool,
okay.
Right?
Yeah, okay, I get that. So now, what about people who are more now buyers, but we're just not finding anything for them right away?
Okay, so that's a completely different story. In other words, if they're actively looking to buy now and And the lines of communication, number one, have to be open. And the way to do that is by making sure that you have set up showings to look at properties. Now, the best time to do that is at the initial appointment. So on the initial appointment, once you get them signed to your buyer contract, you're going to also schedule a time to look at properties that are available at that time. Okay, that's an absolutely key component. If they're looking now, then you must do that now. Okay, we'll set up a time next Wednesday. We're going to go and look at some properties. We'll pick out some properties that are available. Now, here's the next thing. The prospect, or the client, the buyer client, must be in a financial position where they are qualified to make an offer on a property.
Okay.
Because if they're not, then this is why they feel like it's a waste of their time anyway, and they're not as motivated because they know that even if they did find something, they couldn't make an offer on it anyway because they haven't been financially qualified and okayed to do that. But as soon as they are, now they're of the mindset they're walking around with a loaded gun, and they know that, you know, anything in their, you know, viewfinder, they can pull the trigger.
Okay, so then the best way with them is every time you're working with them, set up another appointment for the next time, or make sure we're keeping in touch with them to say, okay, I've got these properties, when can we go out?
And this is for somebody that's looking now. Now, if you had somebody that was looking now and they weren't responding to any of the properties that you were sending, weren't interested in taking a look at any of the properties that you were sending them that were coming on the market, your conversation is this. Is it that the properties that I'm sending you aren't what you're looking for? Or is it that your situation has changed in some way and you're not in the same position that you were, you know, before? Which is it?
Okay.
Because it is one of those two things, right? It's one of the two things. Either I haven't shown you anything that you like, or your situation has changed, and even though you do like what I've sent you, you're not in the same position that you were, so this is the reason. But it is one of those two things.
Right. Okay. Yeah, and that's what I was struggling with. So that helps. That helps. So
and
I'll
both
just
of them can be
ask the
fixed.
question.
Both of them can be fixed. If they tell you, well, you know what, maybe we need to look at a different price range, or maybe we're more interested in, you know, the kids really want something with a pool. I don't know, whatever it is. But whatever it is, we can remedy the situation if we ask and keep the lines of communication open.
Okay, that's very helpful. Thank you.
Thanks, Sandy.
Thanks.
Okay, we have Nazira Jamal. Your line is now open. I believe it might be Nazira's OSA Sonia.
Hello.
Please go ahead.
Yes, hi.
Hello, who's this?
Hello. This is Sonia. Can you hear me?
I can. This is James.
Hi, James. How are you?
I am excellent today. How are you?
I'm fine, thank you.
And what would you like to do here today?
I would like to role play. I want you to be a buyer, please.
All right.
It's going to be a buyer follow-up call.
Okay. Buyer follow-up call.
Yes, please.
All right. So ring. Hello.
Yeah. Hi. Is James there, please?
This is James.
Hi, James. This is Sonia from Peel Vision Properties. How are you?
I'm good. How may I help you?
Yeah, the reason I'm calling because I received your request for the information you wanted, and I put it in a mail to you. Is that okay?
Yeah, that's great. What information was that? I don't remember.
You were looking to buy a house somewhere here in GTA area, and that's the reason I'm calling you. Are you?
No. We're not buying a house today.
Oh, okay. So, are you planning on making a move in next 3 to 6 months?
Yeah, maybe in a few months.
Okay. Do you currently rent, or do you own your own home?
No, we rent.
You rent. Are you planning on staying in the area, moving out of the area?
We're thinking of maybe Scarborough or Brampton, or Mississauga or Brampton. We're not sure yet.
Okay, if you were to move, when you do think that might be?
Next year.
Do you have a realtor to help you when the time is right?
No, we're not ready for that yet.
You're not ready for that yet. So, would you like me to email you daily updates of the home that match your home buying criteria from all the real estate companies? Our list includes any bank foreclosures, company-owned properties, or other distressed sales off-market property. It's a free service, and of course, you're not obligated to buy if you are not interested. Would that interest you?
Not right now. No, we'll look at the properties that you sent, and we'll take a look at those, and then in the new year we'll be more serious. But right now, yeah, we're not ready for anything right now.
Okay, if anything like comes in the market which you really like, are you sure you don't want to reconsider that?
Not right now. In the new year would be better.
Okay, then why don't we put you tentatively for second week of January, and then I can call you up and I'll follow up with you whether it's a good time to see you. So what works for you, the day or the evening?
Evenings is best.
Okay, so let me put you down for, like, say, January 5th, 6 o'clock at my office. I'll send you the office address. Then I'll verify.
Well, I don't. Can you? Well, why don't you do this? Can you call? Just I don't want to do an appointment yet. Just call me, and then we can schedule, because I don't know what my schedule will look like then. So, can you just call me?
That's absolutely fine with me. That's I'm putting a tentative appointment, and I'll follow up with you somewhere in the first week of January to say if that time works for you or if you want to change the appointment.
Okay.
Is that okay?
Yeah, that's fine. Yep, that's fine.
Okay, then I'll email you my office address and the time and the date. Then I'll catch you up later on, and thank you so much for taking my call.
Perfect. Okay, so you know what? That's pretty good. I was pretty dismissive is the word. Pretty dismissive of you. And you're very reasonable, making sure I understand. Here's what you've got to do, though. I got to tell you, when you make the offer,
okay.
You're way too fast. Way too fast. You've got to slow down. Slow down and explain what you're offering me.
Okay.
Okay. I know what you're offering me because I've heard it a billion times, but the prospect doesn't know. And you're going way too fast. When you go back and you listen to our call, I think you're going to hear that. And you're going to say, holy cow, I've been going too fast. See, here's the problem. If the prospect doesn't hear what you're offering them, then they're obviously not going to be motivated to want it. Like, they didn't even hear you. So I want you to go back and listen to our little role play that we just did here. I want you to hear how fast and how quick you are, and you've got to slow it down to be very clear and concise. You want the prospect to be thinking about what you're offering them and thinking, yeah, that would be helpful. Here's the bottom line, though. I like the way that you handled that situation, right? There is no point in pushing me for an appointment now. I'm not going to accept it. I am not going to accept the appointment. So the way you handled it, your drop back positions, is very logical and very, very good. Now, you're going to follow up with me in the new year. When you do, you need to reiterate. What I'm going to do is set you up to receive the properties as they come on the market that match what you're looking for. All the best deals in Mississauga and Brampton that match your price range and everything you're looking for. We're going to make sure that you get those immediately. All the best deals, no cost, no obligation. We need to know what you're looking for in detail, so we're going to spend 15, 20 minutes going over your criteria tomorrow evening. Now, the worst they could say is, well, I'm not available then. All right, our evening's best. How about Thursday evening, right? So you'll just book the appointment. But when you call them back, you've got to reiterate the reason for the appointment. What is the reason for the appointment? Okay?
Yes.
It's to understand what they're looking for, so that you only send them the best properties. It's free. There's no obligation. Only take 15, 20 minutes to go over their criteria.
Okay.
Okay? Very good.
Yeah. Thank you so much. Merry Christmas.
You're very welcome.
Happy New Year. Yeah.
You too. Yes. Merry Christmas. Happy Hanukkah. Happy whatever to everybody. I hope you guys have an awesome holiday season, but I shouldn't say that because tomorrow I'll have the opportunity to do it all over again. We're doing our ad clinic session tomorrow, Andrea. And
That's
that means
right.
we want to have ads to look at.
That's right. We have calls up until just Christmas Eve. So I have on the screen right now the current webinar schedule, but we will definitely be talking to all of you tomorrow morning for the marketing clinic. So please load your ads, and we will critique as many as we can get to.
Awesome. We will see everybody then. Andrea, thanks so much for your help, and yeah, we'll be speaking to everybody tomorrow morning.
Thank you, James. Thank you, everyone.
I would expect likely Craig will be joining us on the ad clinic tomorrow as well. I don't know that for certain, but I'm pretty sure.
A Christmas miracle. We can wish for that.
There you go. Okay, thanks, Andrea, and thanks everybody for volunteering today. Enjoyed.
This officially ends the webinar for today. Have a great day.